Hey there, squirrels. Let's put some lights on. And pray I can stay awake. Oh, pray, pray, pray. Y'all know I've been meaning to get on here before now, but at least it's not 10 or 11, but don't seem to matter where my body's concerned. All right, here we go. Miss Bly opened the door and came in, brisk and helpful. "Oh, I hope you found everything you wanted," she said. "There were fresh towels and soap, I hope. Mrs. Copley comes in to look after the vicar, but I really have to see she does things properly." Mrs. Boscawen and Miss Bly went downstairs together. Tuppence joined them just as they reached the drawing-room door. Sir Philip Stark rose as she came into the room, rearranging her chair, and sat down beside her. "Is that the way you like it, Mrs. Beresford?" "Yes, thank you," said Tuppence. "It's very comfortable." "I'm sorry to hear," his voice had a vague charm to it, though it had some elements of a ghost-like voice, far away, lacking in resonance, yet with a curious depth. "About your accident," he said. "It's so sad nowadays. All the accidents there are." His eyes were wandering over her face, and she thought to herself, "He's making just as much a study of me as I am of him." She gave a sharp half glance at Tommy, but Tommy was talking to Emma Boscawen. "What made you come to Sutton Chancellor in the first place, Mrs. Beresford?" "Oh, we're looking for a house in the country in a vague sort of way," said Tuppence. "My husband was away from home attending some congress or other, and I thought I'd have a tour around a likely part of the countryside, just to see what there was going and the kind of price one would have to pay, you know." "I hear you went and looked at the house by the canal bridge?" "Yes, I did. I believed I'd noticed it from the train. It's a very attractive-looking house from the outside." "Yes, I should imagine, though, that even the outside needs a great deal doing to it, to the roof and things like that. Not so attractive on the wrong side, is it?" "No, it seems to me a curious way to divide up a house." "Oh, well," said Philip Stark, "people have different ideas, don't they?" "You never lived in it, did you?" asked Tuppence. No, indeed. My house was burnt down many years ago. There's part of it left still." "I expect you've seen it, or had it pointed out to you. It's above this vicarage, you know, a bit up the hill. At least what they call a hill in this part of the world. It was never much to boast of. My father built it way back in 1890 or so. A proud mansion. Gothic overlays, a touch of Balmoral. Our architects nowadays rather admire that kind of thing again, though actually 40 years ago it was shuddered at. I had everything a so-called gentleman's house ought to have." His voice was gently ironic. "A billiard room, a morning room, ladies' parlor, colossal dining room, a ballroom, about 14 bedrooms, and once had, or so I should imagine, a staff of 14 servants to look after it." "You sound as though you never liked it much yourself." "I never did. I was a disappointment to my father. He was a very successful industrialist. He hoped I would follow in his footsteps. I didn't. He treated me very well. He gave me a large income, or allowance, as it used to be called, and let me go on my way." "I heard you were a botanist." "Well, that was one of my great relaxations. I used to go looking for wildflowers, especially in the Balkans. Have you ever been to the Balkans looking for wildflowers? It's a wonderful place for them." "It sounds very attractive. Then you used to come back here and live here?" I haven't lived here for a great many years now. In fact, I've never been back to live here since my wife died." "Oh," said Tuppence, slightly embarrassed. "Oh, I'm sorry. It's quite a long time." It's quite a long time now. It's quite a long time ago now. She died before the war. In 1938, she was a very beautiful woman," he said. "Do you have pictures of her in your house here still?" "Oh, no, the house is empty. All the furniture, pictures, and things were sent away to be stored. There's just a bedroom and an office and a sitting room where my agent comes, or I come if I have to come down here and see to any estate business." "It's never been sold?" "No, there's some talk of having a development of the land there. I don't know, not that I have any feeling for it. My father hoped that he was starting a kind of feudal domain. I was to succeed him, and my children were to succeed me, and so on and so on." He paused a minute and then said, "But Julia and I never had any children." "Oh," said Tuppence softly, "I see. So there's nothing to come here for. In fact, I hardly ever do it. Anything that needs to be done here, Nellie Bly does for me." He smiled over her. "She's been the most wonderful secretary." She still attends to my business affairs or anything of that kind. You never have come here. Wait a minute. You never have come here, and yet you don't. Get off of there. "And yet you don't want to sell it?" said Tuppence. "There's a very good reason why not," said Philip Stark. A faint smile passed over the austere features. "Perhaps, after all, I do inherit some of my father's business sense. The land, you know, is improving enormously in value. It's a better investment than money would be if I sold it. Appreciates every year. Someday, who knows, we'll have a brand new baby dormitory built. Have a very brand new dormitory. Let me try it again. Someday, who knows, we'll have a brand new dormitory town built on that land. Then you'll be rich." "Then I'll be an even richer man than I am at present," said Sir Philip, "and I'm quite rich enough. What do you do most of the time?" "I travel, and I have interest in London. I have a picture gallery there. I'm by way of being an art dealer. All those things are interesting. They occupy one's time till the moment when the hand is laid on your shoulder which says 'depart.'" "Don't," said Tuppence. "That gives me the shivers." "It needn't give you the shivers. I think you're going to have a long life, Mrs. Beresford, and a very happy one." "Well, I'm very happy at present," said Tuppence. Hang on. "I suppose I shall get all the aches and pains and troubles that old people do get, deaf and blind and arthritis, and a few other things." "8 chimes, that's right." A few other things. "You probably won't mind them as much as you think you will. If I may say so without being rude, you and your husband seem to have a very happy life together." "Oh, we have," said Tuppence. I suppose, really, she said, there isn't. I suppose, she said, there's nothing in life like being happily married, is there? A moment later, she wished she had not uttered those words when she looked at the man opposite her who she felt had grieved for so many years and indeed might still be grieving. For the loss of a very much loved wife, she felt even more angry with herself. And that's finally all of 15. And I know that wasn't much, but I'm going to stop there because we got some people that are on tonight. I can't remember who they are, so I'm going to have to go looking. Love y'all. Next chapter is called The Morning After, chapter 16. Love y'all. Be sweet, don't be ugly. Can y'all believe I still hadn't worked on this at all? Been working on this do-rag and this tiny, tiny yarn on a little needle. Oh my gosh. Love y'all. See you later. Be sweet, don't be ugly. Bye-bye.